The successful experience in Venezuela has been so appealing to Trump that it has convinced him he can inflict very heavy blows on Iran without paying any serious cost and emerge victorious. But why could this be the biggest gamble Trump has taken in his entire life?
An even more important challenge relates to other countries and America's competition with its main rivals, China and Russia.
At a time when the U.S. has reached the peak of its competition with China, and Russia is at a turning point where, if it can exit the Ukraine war with major concessions, it would gain increased power. America's entry into a large-scale war with Iran could be exactly what China and Russia need. In such a scenario, they could arm and support Iran, draw the U.S. into a costly war of attrition, divert America's focus away from competition with them, and create a golden opportunity to move toward control over Taiwan and larger parts of Ukraine.
Another pillar of Trump's calculations has been shaped by Iran's previous reactions to strikes carried out by the United States and its allies against Iranian interests. The key point, however, is that all of Iran's previous controlled responses that in fact faced heavy criticism inside Iran, were justified by the need to avoid entering a full-scale war for survival, given factors such as economic conditions and other constraints. But now that it is clear what the next war would be about, namely the survival of the Islamic Republic, it is only logical that Iran's responses will be very different this time and will not resemble those of previous periods.
And everything Iran has accumulated over decades could be brought into the battlefield. For all-out defense, Iran's strategy would be to maximize costs for various parties and use all its capabilities, such as the extensive use of its missile stockpiles, closing the Strait of Hormuz, and attacking U.S. bases in countries like the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait. This could become a full-scale catastrophe for these countries, whose economies are built on secure trade in oil and gas resources. This means that even America's wealthy allies are not satisfied with a war scenario against Iran.
And the final issue, which may be the most important one for Trump, is that all of these risks are being taken over a matter in a dossier that has no real priority for the U.S. economy or America's domestic interests.
Entering such a conflict in pursuit of personal prestige, if it does not end in victory, could result in a domestic disaster for him, providing his internal opponents with the best opportunity to humiliate him.